I hope everyone is doing great today. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about it. I want to bring you guys the first federal execution in 17 years, and the last execution by the federal government was in 2003. Well, they decided to overrule the U.S. district judge on having a stay on the execution of Daniel Lewis Lee, because of protocol of lethal injection protocol. And Lee was pronounced dead July 14, 2020 at age 47 in an Indiana state prison. And Lee is from the state of Oklahoma. So to give you guys a little bit background on the first federal execution in 17 years, I want to let you guys know and inform you who he is and what murders that he committed and his accomplice. So back in 1996, Lewis and his accomplice Chevy K.O., they committed three murders on a family, and the people that were murdered were William Frederick Mueller, Nancy Ann Mueller, and their daughter was Sarah Elizabeth Powell. They were murdered in their home in Arkansas in 1996, and the bodies were dumped in a lake. So just off that, those are heinous crimes, and obviously those two, obviously needed to be punished. But me personally, I'm not for the death penalty. I was always against it. And in college, it was my junior year, I actually did a long project, maybe over 10 to 15 page project on why I'm against the death penalty. So there's different reasons why I'm against it, but one of them is that man, meaning humans, we don't have a say on who dies and who doesn't die. That's not our judgment. I believe in God. I believe God makes that decision on when we live and when we die, right? But I understand the pundits out there and people that would say, will criticize, like, but what if it was your family members, things like that. I mean, that's another story for another day. But again, I don't think that the courts, the prisons, the government, they have a say on who lives and who dies. I know they want to be God and make that judgment, but I don't think it's right. But again, that's just the country we live in. In 1972, we eradicated the death penalty in the U.S., right? So just to kind of give you guys that background. But Daniel Lewis Lee was no angel as well, too. In 1990, he assisted his cousin. His cousin is John David Patton. So back in 1990, at the age of 17, Lee got into an altercation with Joey Wavra III. They got into an altercation. Daniel kicked Joey in the face to the ground. He was knocked unconscious. But then after that, Lee gave his cousin, John David Patton, a knife to kill Wavra, right? So his cousin killed him, but what happened with Lee as well too, not just being there at age 17, he robbed him as well while being killed, right? So he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but they actually threw away the murder charge. But his cousin, John David Patton, he's serving a life sentence in prison without possibility of parole. So again, this was in 1990. So that's just to show you the history of the life and crime of Daniel. So again, he was no angel, but this was, I wouldn't say it was the start, but it was the start that's actually printed, where we can go find, Google things like that ourselves. But that was alarming in itself. But in 1995, guys, Daniel, he met with the white supremacist person, which is his accomplice, was it Chevy K.O. Chevy K.O. has a name I've never seen before, guys, so bear with me when I say his name, Chevy K.O. Sounds like a KO in boxing. So he met him in 1995, and he introduced him to the whole white supremacy, and he introduced him to the Aryan People's Republic. We all kind of know as the Aryan Brotherhood. That's a white supremacist group, and that was kind of, I wouldn't say the start, because he already had it in him, but 1995 is when he was recruited and introduced, and then the next year, 1996, that's when the murders happened in Arkansas. That's when they both teamed up, and they committed those 3 counts of heinous murder. And with Chevy, he's actually, and it's a male, Chevy's actually doing life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's serving 3 life consecutive prison terms. So he didn't get the death penalty, and he probably turned on Daniel and told the DA what they needed to know and snitched. Who knows? Because I'm trying to figure out why he didn't get the death penalty as well too. And Daniel's last words too, before they executed him, he said, "I didn't do it." Right? He said, "I didn't do it. That you're executing an innocent man." And a lot of people are coming out to say too that the reason why the federal government decided to push for this execution, again, a lot of things go back to Donald Trump, the president of the United States. They feel like this was good for his campaign. This is like kind of dog whistling to his supporters. They're saying, "Hey guys, I'm tough on crime, and I'm going to, if you commit a heinous crime, you will be executed like a dog." And it's sad to say there are many of his supporters that love this. They were supporting it. And to William Barr, he's a big component of the death penalty. He's pushing the Bureau of Prisons to start executing more prisoners, right? And these are the prisoners that he wants executed that have committed heinous crimes on children and the most vulnerable, the elderly, right? And again, guys, I'm not for crime. I'm not for people committing murders on anybody, children, elderly, or anyone. But again, I'm not for the death penalty. I'd rather you do life in prison. I think that's the worst way to suffer, and just in my opinion. And again, we don't have that power to take someone else's life. So William Barr, he's a big component of the death penalty, and the family of the victims, they wanted to be there for the execution, but the government said, "No, you guys can't go. You guys cannot be there to see Daniel Lewis Lee be executed." So they're upset about that. And Daniel's attorney, she feels that this is not right to execute him. Why would you do this through a pandemic? I mean, just to kind of go back at that, plays devil advocate. I mean, pandemic or no pandemic, if there's a death penalty and you are scheduled to be executed, I mean, coronavirus or no coronavirus, I mean, it is what it is. But a lot of the Supreme Court justices as well too, they are, Sotomayor, they're coming together and they want to kind of look at how the Constitution of the death penalty, and we need to look at it to see if we need to keep doing this as a country, right? And we're one of the only countries that really do it, right? So again, I'm not for crime, and the murders of the 3 family members were egregious to say the least. But again, Daniel Lewis Lee, he died of lethal injection July 14, 2020. And again, it was like the federal government, Trump probably made the call too, like, guys, let's get it done, Supreme Court. Let's get this execution through. And it was a 5-4 vote to execute Lee. And that's really all I have for you guys on this one. And want to know what you guys think, and to kind of bring it back. Do you believe in the death penalty? And if you believe in it, why do you believe in it? And if you're against it, why you're against it? Let's have a civil conversation, intelligent conversations only. You know how I am, guys. And I appreciate your support. And like the video, share it. Make sure you subscribe. All right, do that as well too. And I'll talk to you soon. More videos to come. And peace and love.